てください。
そんなひそひそ話さなくても大丈夫でしょ。
Mm.
ここには大尉たちいないんだから。
あ、そうね。じゃあ作戦立案会議を始めましょうか。
You know, for as serious as First Lieutenant Suzumiya gets when she's doing battle logistics, she sure is soft-spoken most of the time.
じゃあまずはじめに新入りたちの策を聞こうじゃない。誰からでもいいわ
Yeah,
よ。
here's my strategy, don't die. I seem to be pretty good at that one.
僕たちからですか？
No,
注意。
what other newbies they be talking about, Makoto? Come on.
そうよ。大尉も言ってたけど、これは新入りたちの完熟が主な目的。主役はあんたたちじゃない。張り切ってな。
まずアルファ隊の戦力から判断するとスタンドオフ戦術を取ることは確実です。
If you say so.
こちらの部隊戦力では勝つためには攻撃に出るしかないと考えられますので、
She's right about that. Since they can easily pick us off from afar, we've got to find a way to get in close.
予想される布陣は最高峰に風間少尉、その左右手前に柏木少尉と玉瀬少尉。
Circle, circle, circle.
柏木少尉と玉瀬少尉の前にそれぞれ鈴宮少尉と榊少尉。
More circles. Suzumiya in front of Tama, class rep in front of Kashiwagi. Yep, that's a pretty solid plan.
なるほど。こちらの機動力には付き合わないってことか。教科書通りの防御的布陣だね。
Actually, yeah, that really is straight out of a textbook. It'd be surprising if they came at us with something so predictable.
それなんですが、短期遊撃で僕を潰しに来るのか狙撃手の直縁かで迷います。
で、結局どっちなのよ。
In a formation like this, I get the feeling the captain would choose to support Lieutenant Kazuma. If it were Lieutenant Hayase we were talking about, she'd definitely go in for an ambush, but a perfectionist like the captain would probably want to maintain a flawless formation if she went with a defense like this.
そうですね。やはり迂回を警戒して風間少尉の後ろです。
Oh-ho, so she'd harden up their defenses, huh?
風間が誘導弾を使い切ったら大尉と二人で後方を固めて狙撃チームを前後から守るというわけか。
その通りです。
じゃあヤミネ、お前は？
はい。大尉と榊、鈴宮が石膏で前面で動き回り、一定距離を維持しながら風間少尉と玉瀬、柏木が後方支援。石膏が交戦し、位置を特定し、その上で長距離攻撃という連携を考えます。敵の第一目標は鎧、第二目標は早瀬注意、第三目標は宗像注意です。
Why am I such low priority? The fuck?
鎧とは逆に構成が高いプランね。
You can say that again, but it's just like Ayamine.
よし。じゃあ三剣。はい。敵の優先撃破目標は綾峰と同意見です。ですが、戦域が市街地ということを考えると、玉瀬、柏木の狙撃特性を活かせるポイントは限られます。
Show me your map.
故にこの2機はおとりとして全面配備。振動、音源で大まかな位置をつかむと同時に遠距離から威嚇攻撃を開始。あえて自分の位置を晒し、私たちに攻撃させることで各機の位置を特定。そして風間少尉によるメイン圧を加え、こちらのストームヴァンガードの数を減じた後は優先順に目標をしらみつぶしにすると考えます。
なるほどね。
So they'll use their own snipers as bait, then have Lieutenant Kazuma start picking us off. Yeah, that's another valid plan too. Now watch, we're all gonna put these plans forward, and then like the seniors are gonna be like, alright, you fucking dumbasses, here's what it's probably gonna go down.
綾峰、三剣揃って構成戦術とはストームヴァンガード候補だけのことはあるね。
白金、あんたは？
Robots. An offensive formation, obviously. A tough defensive formation. Both defensive and offensive tactics. There's no point There's no point in deliberating over here. What do I expect? So they got 3 snipers, is the thing. It's what we know. We know they got 3 snipers with them. So they wouldn't get too aggressive with 3 snipers, you know? You got 3 people in the back picking them off. Ugh. I don't know. No. I think it'd be a decent mix, because they do have Suzumiya. Suzumiya likes to get rough. I think it's going to be a combo. First, the captains Sakaki and Suzumiya will do recon to rile up the front. I agree with Ayamine on that part. I'm thinking that Kashiwagi, Tamase, and Lieutenant Kazuma are each going to operate independently. I do? Okay. They won't be completely separated from the others, though. I'm guessing they'll stay within a certain radius of the recon units. This lowers the risk of their support units all being spotted at the same time and allows each of them to focus on helping the recon units fulfill their duties. I do. Right, so basically I agree with Mei and Ayamine in that we have no choice but to go on the offensive. If we end up fighting a defensive battle, we'll just keep butting heads with their recon units until they pick us off one by one from long range. While it would make the most sense for the captain's team to use a low-risk defensive strategy, thinking they'll try something more unorthodox like this to limit our options. Now, what do you think it is? I don't fucking know, quite honestly.
僕たちが早く機体になれるためと専任の人たちが白縫いの性能を
I'm
再
sure
確認
that's
す
what
る
they
ためで
said
す。
during the briefing. What is the real purpose?
その通り。じゃあ何のためにそんなことやってるかわかるわよね。
It's so we can protect the 00 unit, right? But I can't say that yet. Is she about to drop that bomb on us?
A01 部隊の使命を果たすためです。
もうちょっと具体的に。
人類の勝利に貢献するためです。
ちょっと先に行き過ぎ。
ベータと戦うためです。
正解。部隊の訓練はすべてあんたたちがベータと戦っても生き残れるようにするためにやってるのよ。
Oh, so that's what she meant. She wasn't talking about the 00 unit at all.
では質問。隊員がアルファ隊とブラボー隊を今みたいな編成にした
Fuck
理由。
no.
わかる。
Well, the main point of the exercise is to give us a feel for how the Shiranui handles, but if that were the only reason, she would have balanced the teams out more equally. Maybe it's like what Sergeant Jinguji did with Class Rep and Ayamine, just trying to improve my relationship with Lieutenant Hayase or help Suzumiya come to terms with things. Nah, that can't be it. The captain wouldn't let our personal problems affect our training.
お前ら黙ってないで。わからないならわからないと言え。わかりません。鈴宮中尉、どうしたんですか？
急に大きい声出すからびっくりしちゃって。
驚かせて申し訳ありません。
いいのよ、Munakata
going on
中尉。
Man, First Lieutenant Suzumiya is so...
あんたたちがベータと戦って生き残るってすごいヒントだったんだけどね。
No.
白金、我々が戦うブラボー隊最大の戦術的特徴を言ってみろ。
Bravo team's the other team, right? What sort of battle scenario do you think Bravo team would be best suited for? They have snipers, that's all I know. Well, they're better at long-range battles, so probably in a standoff.
同じくアルファ。
We're better in close quarters, so probably a brute force offensive.
その通り。つまりアルファ隊にとってこの模擬戦は背部突撃前、つまりレーザー級の存在が想定される状況なんだ。
Oh.
逆にブラボー隊にとっては同じく背部突撃前、デストロイヤー級が存在する戦いを想定した模擬戦なんだ。
Well, see, that makes a lot more sense now. Gotcha. So that's why we were split up like this. They're trying to get us used to those kinds of situations. That must be why they did it to us when we were cadets, too. So it wasn't just to force Ayamine and Class Rep to start getting along then.
私たちが訓練する目的はベータと戦うため。だとすれば、人間相手の訓練でああだこうだ考えて勝ってもしょうがないのよ。
人間相手の模擬戦でいくら優秀な戦績を上げようが、実戦では全く当てにならない。
Fair enough.
ベータの思考は人間とは全く違うからね。
Right, I totally forgot. They told me that when I got commissioned in the previous timeline. Actually, I remember thinking about it during the XM3 trials too.
だからこそ、この設定であんたたちに完熟をやらせるの。そして、どんな状況変化にも対処できる連携を学ぶのよ。
so it's basically the same reason we do simulated hive infiltrations. Man, I was totally missing the forest for the trees here.
人類を守るとか地球を守るとか遠くの大きな目標を見据えるのは大変結構だけど橋本もちゃんと見ることね。
訓練だけじゃなくて個別の目的や要求を明確に意識しないと何をやっても時間の無駄になるから気をつけてね。
Okay.
はい。
They're absolutely right. I've been way too focused on the big picture to focus on any of the comparatively minor details.
さて意識の統一もできたところで連携の確認よ。こっちの配置考えるわよ。
はい。
言っておくけどあんたたち負けたらどうなるか分かってるでしょうね。
は
え、でも注意。さっき人間相手に勝っても実戦では関係ないって。
Yeah, but this is supposed to prepare us for the beta. We can't slip up in a fight against the beta.
勝っても負けても結果が同じなら勝つのよ。その方が絶対いいの。
はあ。
I should have known Lieutenant Hayase would be like this. Though I guess anyone who stormed Vanguard 1 would probably want to be the alpha dog.
確かにな。
Oh, great. Not you too.
いや、敗北から教訓を導き出すことは容易であるがゆえに、人は往々にしてその行為で満足してしまうものだ。
Yikes. That's a little too close to home.
実際にその教訓を生かすことは言われているほどたやすくはないぞ。
Yeah, she's got that right. I can attest to it firsthand.
だが、勝利から得るものはそれを謙虚に受け止めさえすればさらなる成功につなげやすいものだ。
三剣、あんたなかなかいいこと言うわね。気に入ったわ。
ありがとうございます。
Yeah, I don't think Lieutenant Hayase is the kind of person you want to be buddying up with.
シロがね、聞こえたわよ。
Yeah, and I meant it.
あんたはそうね。単独設行決定。
Wait, what? All by myself. She's setting me up to be the bait.
撃墜されたら食事2回抜くわよ。いいわね。
But they've got snipers lined up against us, and Suzumiya's gonna be gunning for me too. I'm screwed.
早瀬注意。白金が何か文句があるそうです。
は？
俺の方があんたより戦術機の操縦はうまいから、そんなのは楽勝だと言っていました。
なんですって？
What the hell? I never said that. What's this chick's problem? What are you talking about, Lieutenant Munakata?
お前ならやれる。期待しているぞ。
I ain't got shit. That's... The hell is she going on about?
わかったわ。そこまで言うなら単独設行の上、風間を仕留めなさい。
I'm very not,
いい
no.
わね。
Huh?
できなかったら食事3回抜くわよ。
Lieutenant Kazuma is almost definitely going to be at the heart of their formation. How the hell am I supposed to take her out and be the only recon unit? That's flat out impossible.
白金、早く返事した方がいい。
宗像注意がまた何か言いたそうな顔してるよ。
Huh? No, can't understand anymore. Synthetic or no, food is one of the only pleasures I've got left in this world. Very well, I, second Lieutenant Shirogane, will conduct recon duty solo and will also neutralize Lieutenant Kazuma.
おお、でかく出たな。
Shut the fuck up.
そんなに腕に
I
自信
love you,
が
but
あ
I
る。
hate you. Shut up, this is all your fault.
どうした？
Don't fucking is something the matter, me. You all saw what went down. Well, I couldn't take Lieutenant Kazuma down. Kind of looking forward to eating.
惜しかったよね。風間醤油を追い詰めるところまでは言ってたんだからさ。
結局風巻きがおとりだったね。
まさかブラストガードを最前面に出してくるなんて思わなかったよ。
And we fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
接敵するや即交代して誘い込み、左右からの狙撃で足止めしている間に交代した風巻きが面制圧を行う。
みんなよくあの波状攻撃で生き残ったね。離れて見てた僕が生きた心地しなかったからね。
市街戦だから遮蔽物も多い。ミサイルはこっちをあぶり出すための威嚇だから。
Exactly. If we got distracted trying to dodge around those, they would have shot us full of holes in an instant.
でも鈴宮機と柏木機を撃墜したし、こっちは損害なしだから早瀬注意も多めに見てくれるんじゃないかな。
Nope.
それは無理。
え、そうかな。
Yeah, no, Hayase is not the one to go easy on anyone.
タケルが落としたのは鈴宮機だ。柏木機を落としたのは早瀬注意だ。
Yep, and since we couldn't take out any of the TSFs meant to represent the laser and heavy laser classes, none of that matters.
対レーザー級戦を想定した演習である以上、こたびは私たちの敗北であろうからな。
Lovely.
そうか。じゃあタケルのご飯の運
Oh,
命
he
は
doesn't.
この後の演習評価の
They
時間
very
ではっきり
specifically laid out
する
some requirements. Please stop. You're only making my stomach grumble even more.
うん。普通であれば、あれは奮起させるための冗談であろうから気にす
Yeah,
る
but
な。
I don't trust Hayase. Even I trust Munakata even less. Yeah, this is Lieutenant Hayase we're talking about.
多分本気。
Wow, you guys, knock it off.
じゃあさ、感想聞かせてよ。
Huh? Thoughts on what?
タケルはさ、シミュレーターも一度しかやってないし、吹雪と白縫いの差をストレートに感じたんじゃない？
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
僕としては207小隊最高の戦術機乗りであるタケルの意見にはとても興味あるんだ。
I mean, I'm not sure what you want to know.
僕たちはシミュレーターで感覚的に慣れちゃってからの登場で、しかもまだ機体は借り物だからね。
なるほど。そういう意味では確かに興味があるな。
Okay then, well for starters, maybe this is something I just didn't notice yesterday because it was my first hive infiltration exercise and I was jacked up on adrenaline. But there's definitely a huge difference in horsepower. That engine must generate some serious torque.
そうだね。機体挙動のつながり方に違和感が全くないよ。
私も超等の切り返しの反応には驚いた。型下重量に対する出力比が相当上がっているのであろうな。
You know, in retrospect, we almost had to take on the rebels Shiranuis and our Fubikis, didn't we? Wow, that's a horrifying thought. If we didn't have the new OS back then, we might not have made it out alive. Also, its CNI system is vastly superior to the Fubikis, which makes sense because I doubt you'd want to start a cadet on something this complicated.
確かに通
The
信
fuck's a CNI?
識別能力の差は驚くよね。僕はブラストガードだから特にそう感じるよ。
Oh yeah, I can imagine. For someone who has to operate at long range, it must be a godsend. Being able to track multiple enemies, distinguish friendlies from hostiles, evaluate threat levels, and so forth.
あとは他に何か感じなかった？
Anything else? Huh. You know, you'd think it'd be a bad thing for a third-generation training TSF to be so vastly different from one of its combat model counterparts.
違和感とかそういうのはない？
I mean, no, but that's a good thing. Actually, not to change the subject, but did you guys notice how insanely good Lieutenant Kazuma and the Captain were in those Gextions? Even with the XM3 installed, that was nuts. Lieutenant Hayase and Munakata were pretty great in them too. Even with the handicap, they didn't miss a beat out there. Those guys are on a completely different level from the teams that we were participating in the that were participating in the XM3 trials. The Gextion's design is antiquated at this point, so you'd think there'd be a limit to how much it can. Oh my god. There'd be a limit to how much it can do, even if you install modern equipment on it. But these guys are moving with no problem whatsoever. Just goes to show how familiar they are with the new OS, I guess. Definitely feels rewarding to think that the XM3 is going to improve the capabilities of all surface pilots around the world, regardless of what they're piloting.
タイたちだって激震には乗ったことなかったんでしょ？
うん。座学で聞いた限り、A01 部隊は最初から白縫いを装備していたはずだ。
さすがだね。
No kidding. I mean, I know you guys were using unfamiliar TSFs too. But they were practically running rings around you in those old things.
なんだよもう。タケルは自分の機体だからデータも何もかも万全で良かったのかもしれないけどさ。
I get it. So you're worried about damaging your superior's TSF, is that it? That's unusually considerate of you.
確かに演習前はそうだったけど、そんなんじゃないよ。
Go on. Then what is it?
だからさっき聞いたじゃないか。
No. Refresh my memory?
僕は今日初めて実機に乗ってかなりシミュレーターと違うなって思ったんだよ。後半は慣れたけどさ。
You sure you're not imagining things? Sure, maybe the simulators aren't perfect, but it would make sense for them to not feel like the real thing. Otherwise there'd be no point in training with them.
タケル、実は私もだ。シミュレーターと実機の挙動の差に慣れるのに。
Oh, they were having all these issues adjusting, and Takara just hopped in. He's like, ah, yeah, no, this feels fine. Let's go. Huh? And what about you, Ayamine?
そうだね。機体側の起動データにちょっと振り回された。
Oh, there's existing data in the TSFs, that's why. Yeah, you were in Lieutenant Hayase's TSF, right? And Ayamine was in Lieutenant Munakata's?
そうだ。
Our Fubikis use the proof of concept OS, so some of these guys' data must still be backed up on their old machines. And of course the TSFs they were borrowing must have retained some of their pilots' data as well. They probably got a lot of weird little quirks, sort of like heavily customized cars. Is that what the issue is here? Was Maya having to butt heads with all the data that Lieutenant Hayase has accumulated out in the field? And maybe Ayamine was struggling because Lieutenant Munakata's combat data is uniquely tailored to the gun interceptor position? No. The data link's supposed to synchronize all of our attitude control data, so it shouldn't have felt that different from the simulators. Maybe there's a bug in the system.
訓練学校でシミュレーターから実機教習に移った際には感じなかった違和感ゆえ気にはなる。
うん、タケルの OS に変えた時の違和感となんとなく似た感じだったよね。
でもすぐ慣れた。問題ないよ。
Wait, that's it. Yeah, so simple.
何が分かったのだ。
It didn't feel strange to me because I never trained with A01 in my Fubiki.
どういうこと？
Well, I went straight to the Shiranui with all my old data already installed onto it, right? And as soon as I hopped in the cockpit, it immediately imported and applied all of our attitude control data. That's why it felt just like the simulator.
私たちの吹雪にもデータ自体はあったが、機体の基本性能の差でそれを再現できなかったということか。
それは変だね。だったらシミュレーターだけじゃなく実機でも再現できなきゃおかしい。
そうだよ。だってデータ自体は強化装備側で持ってるんじゃないか。
Listen, man, what answers do you want from me? Hold on, just let me finish. Remember how we used to call the XM3 the new OS during its proof of concept phase?
うん、そうだね。
The XM3 is the official name for the mass-produced version, so think of it this way. Our Fubikis were still running on a prototype OS. But the captain and the others are using a later prototype, one that was based on the data we'd already collected and designed to be mass-producible. I think that's what caused the problems, not the TSFs, but the differences in the OS itself.
OS のさ。
My Shiranui's control unit is brand new, so it's running on XM3. That's why I adapted so smoothly to my simulator data. Because the simulators are set to emulate XM3 too, which is understandably a lot more stable than any of the prototypes. While the simulators could easily import the data from our fortified suits, the Shiranuis you guys just used were still running on a prototype OS. That's why it took a while to adjust to the transition. And the fact that you were switching to a less advanced OS while upgrading to a more advanced TSF definitely made it even worse.
なるほど。それが最初に感じた違和感の正体。
I'm amazed he managed to figure that out by himself, quite honestly. Yeah, come to think of it. That would also explain why the seniors had no trouble at all adapting to the Gextions, which were already running on XM3.
機体の性能が下がって OS の性能が上がるってことか。
なるほどね。
そういえば今朝、副司令が私たちの管制ユニットの OS をバージョンアップするとおっしゃっていたな。
Oh yeah, you're right. Which means she'll probably be giving the rest of the squadron the latest version too.
じゃあ完熟訓練って機体だけじゃなく OS のマッチングも含んでのことだったのかな。
Mayhaps. Probably. Now that you're adapted to their Shiranuis, you should have no trouble transitioning to your own.
OS の全タイプのデータが揃ったから。
Bingo.
すごいよタケル。やっぱりわからないことは開発者に聞くのが一番いいね。
さすがだね。知ってるね。
Come on. Yuko-sensei was the one who did all the work. Besides, I'm only guessing on this stuff.
でもやっぱりタケルに聞けてよかったよ。
うん。私たちと同じような戸惑いを感じているやもしれんな。
演習評価が終わったらみんなで PX に行こうよ。今日の訓練はもうないし。
Actually, I...
ちょっとあなたたち何やってるのよ。早く行かないと演習評価に遅れるわよ。
そうですよ。怒られますよ。
Shut up.
あ、二人ともちょうどよ。
何よ。
何ですか？
今ね、ちょうど白縫いの違和感の話をしていたところなんだ。
Listen, I don't have time to run through this again. We need to check results, right?
ほう、やはりな。玉瀬はどうだ？
はい。なんか最初すごく
And listen, I'll give you guys a complete breakdown of this later. Didn't you just say we needed to be somewhere? Let's not get distracted, y'all.
その仕組みをタケルが解明したんだ。演習評価が終わったら PX でいろいろ聞こうと思ってさ。
Oh, that's right. I'm going to be busy later, though. Wait a second, Makoto. Sorry, but I've got other business to take care of after this. I spent all day on this exercise, so I've got to spend the evening with Sumika. And until then, I was planning to spend as much time as possible working on her present. I practically pulled an all-nighter yesterday, but I'm just about done with the overall shape. I'd really like to finish it up today.
じゃあ夜ご飯は私もその話聞きたいです一緒に
Actually, I think my meal ticket's been revoked.
それは分かってる。だからタケルは話だけしてていいよ。
Dude.
食事抜き？何か？
こっちの事情
じゃあ決まりだね。
Hey, don't just decide things for me. I've got plans this evening too.
タケル、そなたの用事というのは
It sure does.
朝方副司令がおっしゃっていた特殊任務なのではないか。
Yeah, it does actually. Probably should have said that from the start. Now that our training's over, I've got to go handle something for the XO.
そうだったんだ。ごめんね、タケル。
それじゃあしょうがないですね
Aw, everyone's all upset. It's fine. Should have told you guys from the get-go. My main duty is to bring Sumika back to normal, and if I'm right, then finishing that present's going to be a crucial step towards making it happen. So there really isn't any reason not to call this part of my mission when they ask. It's not like I have to go into any detail. But it does make me feel a little guilty, since I can't deny this has a lot to do with my feelings for Sumika too. I don't want to make it sound more noble than it really is.
タケルはここのところずっと特殊任務でしょ。最近ゆっくり話もできてないか
It's
ら。
just an unfortunate side effect of being a protagonist. She's right. I haven't really been able to sit down and chat with everyone since before the coup d'etat. And they think I was sent off on a secret mission all by myself right after what happened to Sergeant Jinguji, so they're probably a lot more worried than they need to be. I know they all have pretty serious emotional baggage of their own to deal with too. Look, I'm sorry.
タケルが悪いんじゃないから。
ゆっくり話せないのは残念だけど、
Yeah, I was,
とにかく
like I've
今
been
は
saying, like
ブリー
you
フィン
said we
グルー
needed
ム
to be
に急ぎま
somewhere.
しょう。
Right, let's go.